Crowder fucking released some damn video on AOC. And it is hilariously stupid.
Of white Americans. Okay?
Yeah.
And again, if you look more... No! I didn't say... She said school choice. I didn't say school choice!
She did.
No! Why can't you support school choice then? Why can't you talk about charter schools? Why can't you talk about a voucher system like libertarians have been talking about for a long time? We've been saying this, and you say that school choice is racist. You are bought and paid for by them. You just made a case for school choice while saying that you hate school.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. It just desyncs sometimes. Okay. Well, that's probably a problem with my PC.
School choice. Question of the day. Let me ask this. Do you think too much attention is actually being given to Alexandria, Nina Pinto, Santa Maria Cortez? Or is it pretty clear that the left is headed in a specific direction here, namely socialism, so leaders like Cortez need to be addressed and their views need to be dissected? There are a lot of people saying, why are you giving this person all of this attention? I understand. I understand that she's just one person, but I also understand that there are a lot of people who see her as a symbol for the Democratic Party and certainly want the party to go in that direction. So I'm curious to hear what you guys think.
It could be yes to both, by the way. I think it's possible. I'll make that point later.
It's possible. So I recently tweeted Cortez asking for in response to her, asking for examples of systemic discrimination in the United States.
Okay, I'm going to mention this again. I don't understand this joke. Ben Shapiro and Steven Crowder do it. No, this type of joke. Well, they'll say something one time in a video, and then we'll never stop saying it for like the next 500 videos they make on that person. So right now it's Alexandria Pinto blah 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 Cortez, or Cortez. I'm rolling the R's. And then with Bernie Sanders, it's pudding all the time. I don't like shut the fuck up. It's not funny anymore.
States today. She responded with the following. I think we have her tweets right here. She responded.
Okay, let's read these tweets. Hold on. Fuck, everything's falling apart. Okay. So, can you give me an example of systemic discrimination in the United States today? Is what Steven Crowder tweeted. She responds with, just last week, the Washington Post reported on a $23 billion, sorry, not really $billion, racial funding gap in K through 12. White school districts received $23 billion more than non-whites. Other systems, mass incarceration, bank targeting black Americans before the housing crisis. So, I'm not well enough equipped to target the bank targeting black Americans one, but we'll listen to it anyways just because I feel like he somehow just says something stupid, even if I don't know much about it. Because that usually happens. The next one of mass incarceration, he'll say some fucking dumb shit, but basically all it is that like the war on drugs counts as mass incarceration. I'm pretty sure the stop and frisk laws count as mass incarceration. Any law that specifically targets like baddie boys pretty much counts as like mainly the war on drugs is the biggest one. Why the fuck did this not have a tab? Whatever. That's some good ass hummus. Oh, that smells fucking delicious. Okay. So, let's go through this.
In K through 12 education.
Oh, should I explain it first? No, I'll explain it after.
Mass incarceration, banks targeting black Americans before the housing crisis. She's been cordially invited to appear on the show, by the way. Haven't heard back. As far as I know, here's something important as well. She's never appeared on a show with an opposed.
Okay. So, to this point, she doesn't really have to show up in your show. She's a senator. You have other people you can talk to, like Kyle Klinsky, Sam Cedar, and you dodge their debates all the fucking time. You only debated her. I bet you only sent your debate to her because she's not debating Ben Shapiro, so now you know it's safe that she won't debate you.
Opposing viewpoint.
No.
Ever.
I can't find it.
I've never found it. We've been doing research all morning. Please tweet
friendly
me,
fire.
leave a comment. If there's a video of her going on a conservative show, a show that would hold her feet to the fire, or where there'd be any kind of debate, please let me know.
Hold on, let's see this. Hold on. Let's see if she's ever showed up on Fox News. I'm literally just gonna Google this. AOC on Fox. Let's see, what are these three? Then we'll go to videos. Okay, let's go through each and every one of these. Holy fuck, if they would load. Holy shit. Oh, my disk space is freaking out again. Why? How does it do this? Uh-oh. No, nothing's loading. Fuck. Uh-oh. 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 I think this whole thing just crashed. Fuck. Yep. Shit. Hopefully it comes back. Yeah, there it is. Fuck. I should give a shit. I don't care. Huh. Come to realization, I don't give a fuck.
No, as far as I understand, she exclusively preaches to the converted. So we're forced to go through a tweet because she wouldn't appear on the show. And by the way, I was stunned with each of the examples.
Says you, Stephen. Where the fuck have you debated somebody on the other side? And he's gonna. This is obviously his response. Oh, I go to college campuses all the time. Oh, you mean like places that 99% of people there aren't well enough equipped to actually debate you, and the only person who was that fucking Yusuf guy? Okay.
Well, she chose because these are examples that are first-year sort of diversity studies, gender studies. Take your pick. I don't know if diversity studies are real thing. Gender
It's so
studies.
new to her. It's a layup.
It's like a first-semester philosophy college student would pick these, and they are some of the most easily debunked. So,
okay, let's go right now.
Go through these. Here's something to keep in mind. Of course, you've all heard correlation doesn't equal causation, but more importantly here.
Remember this. He says correlation doesn't equal causation, which is typically right. Well, okay. It's not always true. Correlation doesn't always equal causation is the word. Not correlation doesn't equal causation. No, wait, is it? Wait. What was taught to me in fucking 3rd grade math? Hold on. Oh, I'm really bad. I'm not. Okay. Correlation equals oh, I forgot the other R. Hold on. Is this like a. Hold on. Okay. Correlation does not imply causation. Why correlation does not imply. Okay. Okay. Hilarious graphs prove that correlation isn't causation. if correlation. Wait, are you asking this question? Yeah. Okay. No, I'm fucking retarded. Obviously, if two things correlate, they don't doesn't mean that they cause it. Yeah. Yep.
Disparity doesn't equal discrimination. We'll come back to that later. So let's go through point 1.
Ooh, that's highly debatable. Disparity doesn't equal what?
But more importantly here, disparity doesn't equal discrimination.
Disparity doesn't equal discrimination. Well, if the reason they're disparate is because they've been discriminated against.
We'll come back to that later. So let's go through point 1, school funding. Okay, right away, off the top, schools aren't segregated. There are no what?
I forgot he says this. Okay.
White schools and black schools by law. So it can't be about race when we're talking.
Okay, so here's the where's the law meme. Well, by law, there's no segregation. Yes, but typically in the United States, black people live in communities all together. Same with Hispanics, same with Italians, same with... Everybody generally lives in communities because the term white neighborhood and black neighborhood exists, okay? So there's communities of people, okay? Okay? You wouldn't say that Detroit or Chicago or what the fuck, Harlem, is Harlem's New York, right? Anyways, you wouldn't say that these places are predominantly white neighborhoods and stuff like that, right? That would be fucking retarded. So you call them black neighborhoods or whatever, because the predominant race there is African American or colored or whatever. Okay? Okay, we got that. So, yes, there's no law segregating the schools. But when schools are in certain neighborhoods, those schools could very easily be labeled black schools, Hispanic schools, white schools. Get it? Anyway, guys, let's move on because there's a very big point he's about to fucking...
Talking about systemic discrimination. So let's take a look at what could actually be causing the funding disparity. First of all, if you actually bother to read the WAPO article that she is referencing, she doesn't actually put it in the tweet. She just says, look it up. Look, bye, okay? Look it up. Get the person knocking your door at the encyclopedia. Just splurge. You'll find it.
It's real. Google it.
So you find...
I mean, you tweeted on Twitter. I mean, I don't know. Fuck.
The disparity, by the way, in the original WAPO article, it has nothing to do with race, and it has nothing to do with the system. It's really based on how money is raised from property tax.
Oh!
Yeah, and they did that.
Wait, money's raised from property taxes? Okay. So if it's not about race, but typically, black Americans live in lower income neighborhoods, then they would raise less money for their schools. Thus, their schools are less funded. Whoa! Oh! Holy fuck! Amazing! Holy smokes!
Because they wanted more local control. Surprisingly, they wanted to make sure if they sold a bond that you...
Who wanted local control? This is an important question. Because if the who... This is the extreme. But if the who was a past president that was extremely racist, or past senators or whatever that were extremely racist and voted, hey, if we make the schools neighborhood funded, then or property tax funded, then we can make it so that black schools get funded less because more black people live in neighborhoods. Now, your rebuttal to me saying the black neighborhoods, whatever, would be, oh, well, not all black people live in it like together in neighborhoods. There's like white people there too, so it can't be like racist. Yes, but this is the same thing with gerrymandering in what was it, Virginia or Carolina, a state in the United States, Ohio. I don't know. When in whichever state it was, I forget entirely. When they closed the booths, the voting booths, early or later, or like they only had them open during the times when the majority of black people were working, That's still racist. If 90% of black people in a city work between 9 and 5, and you only have the polling booths open from 9 to 5, that means that entire group of people can't vote. Or are less likely to vote because they're not going to skip out on work. If in a neighborhood, let's say let's go really small. There's a neighborhood. One street is every single house on one street is all black people, and every single house on the other street is all white people. And they're like right beside each other. If you put the polling booth, this is extremely extreme. If you put the polling booth in the white side of the neighborhood, the majority of people who will go and vote there would be the white people. So let's extrapolate that to a city. If you're in Detroit and you remove and instead of placing the voting booths equally around the city, just based off of like a circumference, instead of placing it, let's draw this. I need my drawing hand. Hold on. There's crumbs all over it. Okay. Open up, please. Don't be broken, please. Please, 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 please. Fuck. Okay, we're good. Whew. Sometimes this thing breaks. It's really fucking annoying. Okay. Type. Paint. Come on. Come on, buddy. Okay, so let's say you have a city. Okay, this is the city, and right here, for whatever reason, this is the black neighborhood. Okay, 90% of people in here. All right, let's just say this is the so 90% of people in here are POC. 90% of people in this neighborhood are POC. That means the rest, 10%, is here. Okay, you got that? If you take your voting booth and you put the voting booths here, 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 that's gerrymandering. So this is pretty fucking obvious gerrymandering. So to avoid obvious gerrymandering, you put a voting booth in the black community, but you only keep it open between the hours they work. So 9 to 5, let's say. 9 to 5. So that one's open from 9 to 5. These ones are open 24 hours. Okay? These ones are open 24 hours. That one's open from 9 to 5. Do you get it? Do you get it? That's what happened in a state. Okay, so now let's move this on to schooling. If he's going to go off of, well, same thing. If this neighborhood is 90% people of color, and that is lower income, they make, on average, let's say, on average, let's say 45, I don't know. 45 average. Oh my god. And over here, they make 65 average. And you got two schools. One is here, and the other one is in the neighborhood. Okay, so these schools get funded off of property tax. Which school will get more funding? Obviously, this one. I need to add K here. Fuck. Which school gets more funding? The one with the average of 65 or the one with the average of 45K? Well, obviously the school with 100. Actually, you know what? This is a better way to display this. Okay, so you have a city. Let's go all the way back. Let's go all the way back. Okay, so you have a city. It's split in two. On this side, they make 100K. And on this side, oh shit. On this side, they make 50K. Or year annually, whatever. Okay. There's a school here. And a school here. Which one gets more funding? Well, obviously this one gets more funding. The green gets more funding. Okay. Oh shit. The green gets more funding. Obviously, the green gets more funding. That's pretty clear. Okay. Well, now it turns out that in the city of 100 people, in the city of 100 people, 75% of them. Oh shit! No wait, that's wrong. I can't do that. In a city of no. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. In a city of 100 people, 50. Okay. Sorry. Fuck. If 75% of them in here, because it doesn't matter the population, are people of color, and 25 here are people of color. Yes, some people of color are getting good education, but not all of them are getting good education. So instead, what AOC is about to offer is that both of these schools aren't. It's not 100K here. It's not 50K here because of their income. So let's say, sorry. So 100K here, 50K here, and then this school gets. Well, fuck it, we'll leave it as. The funding wouldn't be 100K here, 50K here. The funding would be 75K here, 75K here. That's called nationalizing your school system. Amazing. Not choice voting, but let's see what happens.
You had a really high bar to clear so that the local residents said yes to that bond.
Right.
Something that she would probably champion.
By the way, the system in question.
Now, okay, so let's say that if the people in question agree to that, which I don't know whether there's any evidence of that because he's not going to source like any specific school. He's about to source 2 schools, and the difference between the 2 places is so fucking obvious. It's unbearable. But he says this, and then he says that AOC would be in favor of that, which there's no evidence of that either. I don't know why she would be. I don't know why you would be in favor of schools being paid off of property tax. That makes no fucking sense. The schools should all be under the same fucking thing. Hey, buddy. Everyday Progressive Show. Oh, fuck. Sorry. All schools should be funded the same, exact same, throughout the entire nation. And then they can have slightly different curriculums, right? Because schools in the South will typically teach. Well, there should be one set curriculum, which is like, I guess would be atheistic is the best word I can think of. So there would be one curriculum that everyone has to follow, and then the rest is just up to the school. So then schools in the South typically do right-wing stuff. Schools in the North, left-wing stuff, blah, blah. I don't even, he hasn't been sick since he came back. He was only gone because he was sick, quote-unquote sick. He hasn't talked about it. He just said he was sick. And, yeah. So, nobody knows what his disease is or anything, or what he was sick with. He was just sick. So, I'll just take him at his word. Anyways.
Question that specific article. The state budget actually gave more to.
Okay.
High bar to clear so that the.
How money is raised from property taxes.
Yeah, and they did that because they wanted more local control. Surprisingly,
Yeah.
they wanted to make sure if they sold a bond that you had a really high bar to clear so that the local residents said yes to that bond.
Right.
Something that she would probably champion.
By the way, the system in question, that specific article, the state budget actually gave more to non.
This thing okay. So apparently he's saying in the specific article, whatever this is that he's citing here, this fucking thing makes no sense. Okay, let's read this. Report finds 23 billion racial funding gaps for schools. That's the title. In the article, the funding gap is largely the result of the reliance on property taxes as a primary source of funding for schools. Communities in overwhelmingly white areas tend to be wealthier, and school districts ability to raise money depends on the value of local property and the ability of residents to pay higher taxes. I don't know what, like...
You had a really high bar to clear so that the local residents said yes to that bond.
Right.
Something that she would probably champion.
By the way, the system in question, that specific article, the state budget actually gave more to non-white schools.
Where does it say that? Let's read this over again. Communities in overwhelmingly white areas tend to be wealthier, and school districts' ability to raise money depends on the value of local property and the ability of the residents to pay higher taxes. So whatever the fuck he just said that more goes to non-white. What the fuck overwhelmingly white areas tend to be wealthier. That's this, whatever the fuck he just cited here. I don't know if it's a mistake. This is against his point. 100,000% against his point. I don't know why the fuck he cited this thing. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. I'm really confused. When I first read this, I was like, what the... The funding gap is largely the result of reliance on property taxes as a primary source of funding the schools. Communities in overwhelmingly white areas tend to be wealthier. That's directly against your point. Directly.
Schools, just to keep in mind.
Well, that's awkward.
But she does...
How do you mean it's awkward? You just cited something that actually just absolutely... like that. I mean, that's awkward, actually. That is awkward. He's right. That is awkward that you accidentally put up the wrong fucking quote.
She does make a point here. And this is where I agree with Cortez. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense that people should be forced to attend a specific school just because they live in a crappy district.
That's not... I don't know where her point was about that. Her point, if anything, was that it sucks that because of property tax raising, you're forced to go to a shitty school just because you're living in a low-income place. And how are you supposed to get out of that low-income place if you don't have good education? Do you get it? Okay.
She mentioned this, by the way, on an interview where she talked about
here we
needing
go.
to change the way, when she wasn't trying to obfuscate with, it's racism. When she was talking about, in an interview, the way school funding needs to change, here's what she said.
One of the things that we really need to reassess when we talk about economic inequality and reducing economic inequality is our basic system of funding schools. The basic idea that the immediate property taxes of a certain zip code funds that local public schools. Because then what it does, it creates this mad dash. I think by kind of re-examining how we even
Are there
fund
goldfish in her shoes?
is one of the...
I don't know why he says this. It makes no sense. Hold on, let's go back. Let's say... I don't... Goldfish in her shoes?
I think by kind of re-examining how we even
Are there
fund
goldfish in her shoes?
is one of the basic things that we...
It's also really hard to hear. I think she says...
Re-examining how we even
Are there
fund
goldfish in her shoes?
Fund schools. She says funds. Re-examine how we even fund schools.
Is one of the basic things that we take for granted, but it could actually be one of the strongest keys in unlocking the opportunities of children in the United States.
Okay, so he's about to freak out saying that. Okay. Do I want to let him... Nice burp. Do I want to let him go first? Hold on. No, yeah, fuck it.
What? School choice?
Yes!
No!
I'm sorry. School choice. When did she say school choice? Hold on. Let's go over this clip again. Hold on.
She said.
One of the things that we really need to reassess when we talk about economic inequality and reducing economic inequality is our basic system of funding schools. The basic idea that...
Hold on. Let's see what... Okay, wait. Let's Google... what is... Oops. Is... Holy fuck. School... Let's see. What the fuck is school choice? Okay. Let's see what this is. What is school choice? Okay. What is the concept of school choice? Okay. Okay, let's see what Wikipedia has to say. School choice is a term for K through 12 public education options in the United States, describing a wide array of programs offering students and their families alternatives to publicly provided schools, to which students are generally assigned by the location of their family residence. Okay. The most common, both by number of programs and by the number of participants. What? Oh, well, I took from the left. Whatever. Okay, sorry. The most common. Okay, sorry. Assigned by the. Okay, yeah. So this is the normal system where you live is basically where your school is. Okay. In the United States, the most common, both by number of programs and by number of participating students, school choice programs are scholarship tax credit programs, which allow individuals or corporations to receive tax credits towards their state tax in exchange for donations made to nonprofit organizations that grant private school scholarships. In other cases, a similar subsidy may be provided by state through a school voucher program. Other school choice options include open enrollment laws, which allow students to attend public schools outside of the district in which the student lives, charter schools, magnet schools, virtual schools, homeschooling, education savings, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I don't, so right now, school choice just kind of sounds like, oh, you can choose where you want to go. But that's like autistic as fuck, right? Because if you just funded the school in the neighborhood, it would be just as good as the other school that you would want to choose to go to. And like if there's no other school in your neighborhood, if you live in low income and you want to, so you live in a low income neighborhood, the school in your district sucks ass, and the school outside of your district is way better. But because you're in a low income, you don't have a fucking car to get there. So now school choice doesn't actually help you because you can't actually get to the school the school you chose. Okay. Again, this comes down to fun. If you just fund the school that's in the district equally to the other school, then both schools are equally good, right? Get it? Okay. So, I don't need anything else. So let's see. In this talk right here, where does she specifically say that she's for school choice?
The immediate property taxes of a certain zip code funds that local public schools.
Yeah.
Because then what it does, it creates this mad dash.
Okay.
I think by kind of re-examining how we even
Are there
fund
goldfish in her shoes?
is one of the basic things that we take for granted, but it could actually be one of the strongest keys in unlocking the opportunities of children in the United States.
Wait. School choice?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I didn't hear it. Did you hear it? Did somebody hear it? Did you hear it? Did you hear it? I didn't hear her advocating for school choice. I heard her advocating for equal funding of schools across districts.
No, I didn't say. She said school choice. I didn't say school choice.
She did.
No, never. You just made an argument for school. Why can't you
So wait, can we hear the argument for school choice? I didn't hear it, so I need you to explain it to me.
support school choice then? Why can't you talk about charter schools? Why can't you talk about a voucher system like libertarians have been talking about for a long time? We've been saying this.
Okay, can you please explain it to me? I didn't hear her advocation. What is it? Hold on, can you?
And you say that school choice is racist. Why? Because you have to appease the big unions who give far more than Big Oil or the Koch brothers.
So can you please explain to me school choice, please? I missed it. Can you please, Crowder? Come on, man. I'm almost on your side. You just got to explain it to me. What is school choice? Okay, let's see.
There's a Rupert Murdoch, big unions, particularly if you look at public sector unions and public education unions, you are bought and paid for by them.
Wait, hold on. Sorry. I get you're trying to move on to like a different point, but wait, how is she like bought and paid for by school unions when she raised all of her money from individual donations from individuals and not a single penny from any kind of corporation or union, I don't think. Can you source that, please? Can you tell me? No?
Just made a case for school choice while
Okay, wait. So can you answer?
saying that you hate school choice. Exactly. Even if you agree with the premise here, when
Wait, can you... So wait, Crowder, are you going to explain it to me? Come on.
you're talking about school funding, you have to follow the logic trail, or you have to follow their logic trail, that more money would equal better success in school. That's
Okay, I mean... All right, Crowder. You didn't explain to me what school choice was. But we can move on. It's okay.
not true. No. Higher per spending pupil about school funding. You have to follow the logic trail, or you have to follow their logic trail, that more money would equal better success in school. That's not true.
No.
More money would equal better success in school. Okay, let's see where this goes.
Higher per spending pupil does not equate to greater success. That's a great example where there isn't even a correlation. You couldn't say that correlation equals causation, but there are schools.
But I mean, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure there's a very solid base of correlation between funding and education. Let's go to the extremes really quickly. If you build a school for $1, is that a better or worse school? Or better or worse than a school built for $1 million? I don't know.
Schools that have more funding, like in Detroit, than the national average, that do horribly, and then there are schools that have far less funding that do much better. For example, there are some schools in certain districts of New York where they couldn't understand. They're going, hold on a second, they have bigger classroom sizes. They don't have the same amount of spending per pupil, and they were doing far better because of better teachers and incentives. I mean, there's a...
Okay, so, let's see. So, schools in Detroit are funded more than certain schools in certain districts in New York. Now, why would they be doing better? Better teachers? Sure, that could be true. Better, better teachers is the main one, basically. That's pretty much all it leads down to. Your school's not good if you have shitty teachers, no matter how much fucking garbage is in there. Your teachers are what matters. Okay, so then why wouldn't teachers want to work in Detroit? I don't know. Maybe because you might get shot? I don't know. That maybe. There's a potential. Not 100% sure, you know? I'm iffy on that one. You know, really safe New York with strict gun laws and decently low gun violent rates. They're pretty high on like other violence, but with gun violence. And Detroit, one of the highest places, like the places you'll go to have the highest chance of getting shot, where there's a bunch of gang violence going on. I wonder where you would rather teach. I wonder. Interesting. So yeah, funding doesn't directly correlate with better schooling. If you just give a school more money, it doesn't do better. Obviously. But a school that is, if two schools are in the same environment, so let's drop two schools into New York in the same district. Two schools right down, right beside each other. Literally right beside each other. And one school is given $1 million of funding per year, and one school is given $100,000 of funding per year. Which school will do better?
There are a multitude of reasons.
She probably should have just stayed away from this. Public education has been a train wreck for a very, very, very long time, and this distracts from a real issue. Like it's like she just tried to pick out like three basic things and say, "Well, that'll work."
Yeah.
Right? There's an article that I can link to.
Well, considering you haven't explained to me how school choice is better than public schools or like national funded schools, and you haven't demonstrated how she shares your point of view, even though she says she doesn't, I'm gonna stick with AOC because I mean, let's leave this up to a totally useless conversation. I already agree with AOC, so I'll stay on her side, and anyone watching this video that agrees with Steven Crowder will stay agreeing with Steven Crowder. That's pretty obvious, because Steven Crowder didn't do fuck all to demonstrate to me that she's wrong, and it's a video, so she can't do anything to demonstrate that she's right. And he'll never show any fucking evidence for it either. So.
Disparity in education.
And it's all about money.
Checkmate.
Even though we've proven that it's not about money.
Oh, wait, you've proven when... Oh, fuck. I don't really want to go back in the video, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't think you did. Could you show me it again?
This tweet speaks for itself, and I think the conversation needs no further discussion.
But that's the kind of responses you would get, by the way.
The next point, by the way, she just points to mass incarceration, which doesn't really...
Okay, let's move on to mass incarceration. I mean, you didn't tell me about how school choice is better, or how, like, funding schools equally would be better, and, like, fixing society around it, but we'll move on to mass incarceration.
Really give us a whole lot to go
context.
But she's probably referring to this idea that the criminal justice system unfairly targets blacks through drug policies, right? Prosecutes them unfairly. It's a common talking point amongst the left. Here's
And it's true.
just a video that's an example.
Drug laws were made in explicitly racist circumstances for explicitly racist reasons. For example, the first anti-cocaine laws were made because cocaine supposedly made black men impervious to bullets and prone to getting involved with white women.
Yep.
First off,
I'm not sure how true that is because he's not going to source it, and he won't show the end of the video where it sources it potentially. So I'll never know if that's true or not.
that's not true. Second, I think
Okay, how is it not
she's
true?
trying to imply here that people on crack or people on meth aren't more likely to commit violent crimes. There's
I don't know where she said that, but okay. Oh, wait, this is my favorite part in the whole fucking video. Hold on.
some Japanese kamikaze pilots who'd like to speak with you. Also, by the way, the whitest people on Earth, the Aryans, the Nazis, they were methed out of their minds. These ideas.
So, remember when he talked about correlation and causation? Remember that? Remember when he mentioned correlation causation? Do you remember it? Because this is not correlation equals just because you do cocaine doesn't mean you're going to do violent shit. But here he is. Fucking Jesus. Oh, yeah, sorry. Crowder, no idea. When he was only sick while he was gone, and then he came back a while ago. And he hasn't mentioned why he was sick, what he had, anything like that. So I'm just take him at his word that he was sick, but who knows what it was? Who really cares? He's still an idiot. But anyways, perfect example of correlation versus causation. Jesus Christ. Oh, 100,000%. Holy fuck. And when you were AFK, yeah, Sam Cedar literally, No, he hasn't mentioned it recently, but Sam Cedar will constantly, anytime someone asks him, be like, yeah, fucking open line, dog. Call in the show. I'll go on your show. You can go on my show. Whatever. Yeah, pretty much. Fuck. And then, okay. Sorry, buddy. Back on topic. So, sorry, not really back on topic. When you were gone, he made a joke about how AOC hasn't showed up on shows that have opposing views in her. It's like, where the fuck is your evidence for that? You've never shown up on a show with opposing views. And if some fucking idiot decides to say, oh, well, he goes to college campuses. You're right. Yeah, he goes to college campuses. A place filled with people who are fucking totally unequipped to deal with your bullshit. Okay. Yeah, they're definitely on equal footing. Anyways, I want you to hear this again. Sorry. So before, context, he mentioned that correlation doesn't equal causation, which is true. That's a true thing. If somebody drinks syrup and kills somebody, that doesn't mean syrup is the reason he killed somebody. Oh, I love playing his shit on stream because I get to fucking yell at him constantly. And I feel like I'm somewhat well equipped to deal with it. Whoo! It makes me fucking and my dream is to get one of these fucking idiots in the comment section to come and talk to me. Oh, I want to dig into that guy's brain. How the fuck does he think? Whoo! Anyways, so remember this. Correlation doesn't equal causation. Okay? Now listen to this.
To imply here that people on crack or people on meth aren't more likely to commit violent crimes. There are some Japanese kamikaze pilots who'd like to speak with you.
Okay?
Also, by the way, the whitest people on Earth, the Aryans, the Nazis, they were methed out of their minds. It is absolutely true that people who do hardcore drugs.
I'm sorry, Crowder. What happened to correlation versus correlation equals causation? I thought, wait, so are you saying that cocaine is the direct cause for violence? Oh yeah, both are, and also, yeah, it's exactly okay. So cocaine. So the Japanese pilots were already suicidal and were already prepared to do whatever they had to do to get the mission done, whatever. Like, they were prepared to kill themselves already. Cocaine probably just helped them with that task because cocaine keeps you nice and ready to go, basically, let's say. It's a nice, like coffee, but 10,000 times more powerful. Meth, on the other hand, totally numbs your senses. So the Nazis took it to numb their senses completely so that they don't feel any pain, basically, while they're out and fighting or in the trenches or whatever. There wasn't that many trenches in World War II, but you get my point. To the answer for how long I've been streaming politics, I've been streaming a long time, kind of. Like, I've been on and off. I've changed my name a couple times. Sorry, there's fucking crumbs all over the place. But I recently got back into streaming, and I've been doing politics whenever I want. I'll just like go on to Google and search up Daily Wire or Loud with Crowder and just respond to some of the videos because, fuck, I do it on my own, so I'm like, why not just stream it? Like, I play video games and I watch these videos. Why not just stream all of that? Why not? Like, it's pretty fucking simple. So here I am. And other reasons, like I think the day I know, holy fuck, but and I also I think this is obviously a bias towards myself, but I believe that I'm pretty good, like I'm pretty entertaining, as far as I'm concerned. I think of myself as pretty entertaining and funny, so I felt like I was pretty decently equipped with being able to do this kind of stuff. I'm not super uber equipped. All right, let me move the chat up so it's easier to see. Like, I could definitely not actually, like, if I was at a college campus, or if Steven Crowder came to my college campus or whatever, I would have a rough time dealing with it, because he's just going to just berate you with a bunch of shit. Like, the topic has to be very specific to something that I'm actually good at, and whatnot. Like, in this, we'll go on to the banking stuff for the housing crisis. I have no information on that, but I'm just going to watch it to see if he says anything stupid. But if he was at, like, a college campus or whatever, and that was like the topic, then I can't like whatever. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, in this format right here, I feel like I'm pretty well equipped because I have the internet to go through, and I believe at this moment that I'm pretty good at deciphering stuff, basically, or like researching and whatnot. Yeah, but if you can't get past his passive-aggressive tactics, you're not equipped enough. Like, you can see this with anybody on college campuses. They don't know enough about stuff to, like, just like, fuck, what the hell's the word for it? I guess it's ignorance, but it's like forced ignorance. I can't really think of the better word for it. But people on college campuses typically don't know typically don't know a bunch of shit about a topic they're trying to talk about. So when they ask Steven Crowder a question like, why is why is climate change like not like, or why do you think that 97% of scientists is like an untrue statement? He'll reply with, well, why would you believe if 100 people told you to kill yourself or whatever the fuck? Like, he'll say some absolutely stupid shit, and then you're just like, what? That's not really the question I asked, but yeah. Like, he always goes up at college students. Yeah, of course, if you put any time into any topic, the other issue with that is that I don't think he announces to the college that he's coming, besides the group itself there. Does he? I think he only asks the college to go there, and they don't make an announcement about it, because why would they? He just gets a permit to be on there. So I think he just shows up on the college. So if you're there, like, besides like tweeting out to his fans or whatever, so if you're there and you disagree with him, you're not fucking at all equipped to deal with the topic at hand. You've definitely not done any research, unless because you like ran to your dorm, collected as much research as possible, and ran back, which I really doubt you would do. And most people on college campuses, and it's the reason why comedians don't go there, are what the fuck's the word, like hyper emotional, I guess would be the best way to describe it, because you're becoming an adult, but you're still like a kid-ish, and kids are super fucking emotional. So you're trying to deal with real-world issues, but you use too much emotion, so you just start freaking out on camera, as is evident by a bunch of fucking Steven Crowder videos. Anyways, where were we? Oh yeah, the cocaine thing. Fuck. Okay, here we go. So correlation, causation, and here he is doing this fucking garbage.
Particularly stimulants like crack cocaine and methamphetamine commit more crimes. I don't know why they're like his.
Wait, sorry. Hold. Again, correlation and causation, buddy. Fuck.
Hardcore drugs, particularly
Yes.
stimulants like crack cocaine and methamphetamine, commit more crimes. I don't know why they're like.
But is it the crack and the cocaine that makes them commit more drugs, or is it that they're already committing crimes and they just do crack cocaine? Correlation and causation, buddy.
It's racism. No.
It is. It pretty much is racism, because what you do is you put things like weed as a top-level drug, whatever the fuck, even though it's not, and because typically more African Americans did marijuana, you could just fucking incarcerate them at any rate. So, weed, fucking 50 years in jail, buddy. See you fucking later.
They crash.
Or like, there's even I don't know how much of this is true. So take it with a grain of salt. But like putting, like, I don't know if it was Reagan or some fucking, but like when the war on drugs started, they would put cocaine into the black neighborhoods. I think you're gonna do cocaine if it's just readily available to you.
Planes into Pearl Harbor when they do those drugs. That's why. To go to the.
Yes, but did they crash into Pearl Harbor because of the drugs? Oh my god. I love this. I loved it so much when I first saw this. It was so fucking hilarious to me. Guys, correlation and guys, please, correlation and causation, guys. I need you to, guys, please, correlation does not equal causation. Crack is the reason the Pearl Harbor happened. Or cocaine. Fuck. Crack is World War II.
They crash planes into Pearl Harbor when they do those drugs. That's why. To go to the argument at large, because she just said incarceration. Yes,
Yeah.
Black people make up a disproportionate percentage of the prison population.
Oh, so you agree? I skipped to the end of the video.
But they also commit a disproportionate percentage of the crimes.
Okay. But why? If you live in gangland Chicago, I don't give a shit if you're white or black, you're going to defend yourself, or at the very least, because you're a kid who doesn't know any better. Like, when you grow up as, like, the brother of a gang member, you will join that gang, because you don't know any better. You don't know that you should get out of that gang. And when you grow up as a gang member, you'll probably kill some people. So there's the crime. It's culture. So you change the culture, you get people away from gang violence, and the incarceration rate will go down. Wow. They don't cause more, fuck. And how do you change the culture? Well, you don't just throw them in jail, because it doesn't help anything. You rehabilitate those and you educate them. How do you educate them? Well, you can fund the schools more, and that's a start for sure. You fund the schools more. You incentivize teachers to go there, and you start building up the infrastructure around that place so that higher the land value goes up. And then, and it like disperses the gangs, because like there's nicer neighborhoods around and whatnot. And yeah, there's a lot of shit you could do to change the culture of a place. Throwing everybody in jail doesn't really do that.
They commit murder, for example, at more than double the rate of white Americans.
But why?
Okay?
Yeah.
And again, if you look more closely, you can find reasons for the disparity in the drug crimes specifically that they mentioned that don't equal discrimination. Yes, okay? Here's a good example. 81% of crack cocaine defendants are black. But only 2% of meth defendants are black.
Yeah.
With 54% of them being white. That means that meth laws target whites 27%.
I have to go back over this. Fucking, hold on.
54% of them being white. But only 2% of meth defendants are black.
Yeah.
51% of crack cocaine specifically that they mentioned that don't equal discrimination. Yes, okay? Here's a good example. 81% of crack cocaine defendants are black.
Okay, 81% of crack cocaine defendants. 81.
But only 2% of meth defendants are black.
Yeah.
With 54% of them being white. That means
54% of them being white. 80 and 54. Those are pretty big differences in numbers. Off the bat. I'm not even sure where this fucking statistic is coming from, because I don't know where you got the 2% from. So 2% and then 50%. So what's taking up the rest of it? Like, where's this graph? These numbers don't exactly make sense, but 80% of crack cocaine defendants are black, and 50% of them of meth defendants are white. So, and this doesn't mean that laws against meth are targeting white people. I don't get it.
Means that meth laws target whites 27 times more than blacks. Wow. See? We can play that game too.
Congratulations. Okay, let's say this is true. I don't even know what these numbers mean. But fuck it. We'll give you this one drug. Can you point out the rest of them? How many in total?
Laws are black.
Yeah.
With 54% of them being white. That means that meth laws target whites 27.
I need to read this. High incarceration rate of blacks in function of crime, not racist. Is function of crime. Wait, high incarceration rates of blacks is function of crime, not racism. Moreover, the press almost never mentions the federal methamphetamine trafficking penalties, which are identical to those for crack. In 2006, the 5,391 sentencing federal meth defendants were 54% white, 39% Hispanic, and 2% black. No one calls the federal meth laws anti-Hispanic or anti-white. Well, you could. And then if you do call them that, then the rest of them are anti-black. So let's make all drugs legal. And I'm pretty much for that. Gotcha.
Times more than blacks. Wow. See? We can play that game too.
Okay, well, if you're going to play that... Okay, here's another question. If you're going to play that game too, that meth targets white people, what ought we do? I really maxed out the mic, dog. Hopefully you didn't blow your ears out. But what ought we do? Just leave it up to fucking... Like, oh, well, it's just racism. We gotta have it.
Targets whites. I bet if you were to include people who have sex with their sister, it's probably 84 times more than blacks. People who have sex with their sister, it's probably 84 times more than blacks.
Yeah, so... Okay, let's see. What? Holy fuck. Okay. Someone under the age of 16 is liable for a minimum imprisonment of 5 years. So, okay. USA. Yeah, fuck it. Legalize prostitution too. That one's super autistic to me. Holy fuck. Imagine that. Imagine you're just trying to get by and you want to bone somebody to get by. And that's fucking illegal? Okay. Laws regarding incest in the United States. Alabama. Prohibited relationships, either legitimately or illegitimately, his ancestor or descendant by blood or adoption. His ancestor or descendant. Okay, so that's a power struggle. Somebody who is older having sex with somebody who's younger. His brother or sister of the whole or half blood or by adoption. Okay, so brothers and sisters can't fuck. Okay. His stepchild or step-parent, so again younger, so power struggle. So that's just like, yeah. His aunt, uncle, nephew, or niece of the whole or half blood. Okay, so again, power struggle. Prohibited acts, marriage or intercourse. Okay. Penalties, Class C felony, punishable by a prison term of no more than 10 years or less than 1 year and 1 day, and a fine of up to $15,000. Okay, let's just go with this one. The rest of them are pretty similar. 1 to 3 years, $50,000. There's a bunch of them. Okay. Penalty. Oops. For possessing. No, possession of coke. Cocaine, sure. Possession of narcotics, legal line. 6.2 mandatory minimum penalties for drug offenses. Drug offenses. Calgary. Well, that's not it. Fuck. Hold on. USA. State cocaine fine law. Drug possession penalties. Cocaine possession penalties and sentencing. Blah blah blah. Okay. Is that a .ca? Yep. Okay. Let's see. What was the first? Oh, I looked at Alabama probably. Let's look at the same place. The possession of cocaine is illegal in Alabama. It's a Class C felony that can be punished by 1 to 10 years in prison. So the same thing, getting punished for the same thing, getting punished for the same amount of time, and no more than $15,000 fine. Wow, literally the same exact thing. Holy fuck. If you have enough cocaine or other drug paraphernalia that it appears that you are selling, the prosecutor may try to get you for a sale or trafficking charge. Ooh, which is fucking way worse. Prohibits the sale, delivery, or distribution. This is a Class B felony, which the punishment depends on the amount of sold or possessed to sell, who the coke would be sold to, and if the defendant has prior felony offenses. Oh, 2 to 20 years. Ooh, you're going to jail for a lot longer for trying to sell cocaine, which is kind of reasonable, but I mean, this all gets solved if you just legalize it and tax it and stuff like that, right? So instead of just throwing people in jail forever, just get it off the streets. Anyways, so okay, I don't really know what your point is. They're both illegal, and one gets you in jail for a lot longer.
By the way, according to the stats, heroin is the wonder drug that bridges the racial divide. That's just good shit. Everyone
Okay, can you source that?
I don't care. You white, you yellow, heroin.
Oh, or is he just saying that heroin, everybody kind of equally uses heroin? Well, that doesn't mean fuck all. So
It is just plain good.
You've got that
business.
right.
I'm glad it brought us together.
We'll be in trouble. So let me ask this.
yeah. Okay. Oh, I'm eating fucking crackers over there. Oh fuck! I want to kill myself. I'm gonna run up and get food. Hold on, I'll be right back. Put the gun down for now, okay? Thank you for the follow, buddy. I love you very much, okay? Come back soon, okay? I love you.
Are meth laws, are they anti-white? Any more than crack laws are anti-black?
Sure, they are. Fuck it. They are anti-white. Okay, now it means. So now that I've agreed to that, how many laws are anti-black? Cocaine ones, weed, and a bunch of other stuff.
But
Whoops!
different demographics
Good, no,
commit
probably.
different types of crime. That's why there's a disparity. There is
Wait, correlation and causation. Whoa.
through line through all these disparities. For example, not doing well in school or ending up in prison. See if you can guess. Before that, though, hit the notification bell since subscriptions don't mean anything anymore. And Jew actually did I say Jew?
You said Jew. You racist.
Omar on the brain. The Jew. They mind trick you into hitting notification bell. Hit the notification bell.
Jews,
Do book page because they might do it. Cortez claims that. Well, so the third point she makes is that banks are targeting minorities, right? That Cortez claims that targeted black Americans. I wouldn't use the word targeting, but okay, let's go with your premise. There is validity, Miss Cortez, to your claim. Why? Because of your party. Here's Cuomo.
Housing agents who say, well, there are no vacancies right now.
Oh,
We
wait.
just didn't qualify for the more.
But not her party, because she's mostly against most people in the Democratic Party. Holy fuck, amazing.
Mortgage because your financial credit history.
I don't know. She's trying to reform the Democratic Party. Same with Bernie Sanders. So you can't actually source her party as a legitimate argument, because she doesn't want to follow these fucks.
Wasn't good enough.
That sounds valid.
Last year, the Federal Reserve Board found African Americans are denied credit for homes at twice the rate white Americans are.
What? Twice the rate? That's almost 2 times more. Twice the rate? 27 times the rate of prosecution of white Americans for meth. 80-something times the prosecution of black Americans for
Housing agents who say, well, there are no vacancies right now. That you just didn't qualify for the mortgage because your financial credit history wasn't good enough.
Well, that sounds valid.
Reasonable.
Last year, the Federal Reserve Board found African Americans are
Unless, of course, the credit actually does add up. They just say it as a valid reason. So, like protected classes in the United States and in Canada, you can't discriminate against people. So, that homeowner can't legally say that, oh, I just don't want you here. I'm not going to tell you why. I just don't want you here. So then, because you can automatically assume it's because he's black or whatever. So you have to come up with an excuse, potentially. And that excuse could be your financial stability.
denied credit for homes at twice the rate white Americans are.
What? Twice the rate? That's almost 2 times more.
So now the question is why? And will either of them answer it? Actually, Crowder might answer it, but he won't go in depth on it. Watch.
Twice the rate, 27 times the rate of prosecution of white Americans for meth. 80-something times the prosecution of black Americans for crack cocaine. Twice the rate. Let's just.
I still don't get it. He still cites the 80 times. Like, that's way more than 20 times.
These numbers, twice the rate. Okay. What was the credit score? What was the money down? What was the income? We can play that game too. We just want to say that.
Yeah, what was it? What was it? Okay, well, it's really low. Well, why is it really low? Is it because of other factors? Well, is it because the education system is shit because you live in low income? Oh, my God.
White people got home loans at twice the rate, therefore racism? That's not how you look into statistics.
Funny thing you would say that, since you look into statistics in a special autistic way yourself. Don't worry about it. Shouldn't use autistic. Fucking dumb way.
Your party targeted banks, told them they had to lend to more people of color, regardless of income ability, money down, or credit score. Cuomo himself established the affordable housing goals, which gave Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac annual quotas for giving.
So all these things don't exceptionally sound bad. It sounds like getting housing to lower income people
low-income mortgages. I've never understood this predatory. How could banks profit from giving loans to people who couldn't possibly pay them back? Why would banks target them? It's like a shark targeting a fish to throw up food in its mouth.
Okay. Well, everyone deserves housing. And will you source that this is directly correlated to the housing crisis? Because, I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. It was government policies that targeted low-income individuals with these loans and caused the housing crisis. They required banks to give out.
Yes, this is the entire reason why the housing market crashed. Okay.
Loans to people who couldn't pay them back or face the consequences. A bank is typically in the business of making money. By the way, you know who didn't have a problem getting a home? The Black Doctor. Just so you know, that's one thing that they always show in movies.
Okay, so first, I don't even know where he's going with the housing market. He kind of just blamed it on something without sourcing it. That's okay. You know, per usual.
It's completely inaccurate. Do you think Ben Carson would walk into a bank and the response be, well, everything here checks out, but we don't take kindly to your coloreds around here. But it's money in the bank. I mean, basically paying 80% down. We don't.
No, what it is, it appears that what it is we will only give out loans to people with a X credit score. And then it turns out that X credit score alienates 85% of black people in the neighborhood. And within further research, the people with slightly lower credit scores could actually afford to pay off the loan. Well,
don't care. We'd rather lose money on a good white fella. That's what happens in these movies.
Yeah,
a black guy walks in for a bank loan. He walks in. He's got a wife and kids. He's got a job. He's got a perfect credit score. He's got all the money down, and they're like, "Well, I would give it to you if you weren't a Negro." That's not how it works in the real world.
Wait. So So what he's doing is because rich black people can get it, therefore it's not racist. Okay. All right. Do I have to go in again as to why that's not true? Okay. I won't. Thank you.
No, especially with
Are there some racists, by the way? Of course there are. But to try and act like the housing crisis was caused by banks targeting black people to make sure.
They would have just targeted whatever. Again, I'm not that well enough equipped to deal with the housing market crash. I would just be like repeating whatever people like Sam Cedars has been saying about it and stuff like that.
Sure that they take the money they can never pay back. It just shows a lack of any threat of risk. Listen, I'm not saying that there aren't.
Okay, so this is why they do it. As far as what I've learned is that they give out the loan to X person, because then the bank can tell investors that they have this amount of money. So if the bank gives out a loan of $300,000 or whatever, like they set up a mortgage for a $300,000 house, the bank can now spend $300,000 on whatever the fuck they have. They have $300,000. They have it. Because the same thing with your credit card, if you set up a max of, when you set up a max, like you can only spend $2,000. Oh my god, the bank on like your credit statement, I think, or something like that, assumes you've spent $2,000 already, just so that they don't get fucked when you randomly spend $2,000. So with a loan, when you deregulate them enough, the banks want more money. So what you do is you give out more loans to people, because there's no regulation saying you can't. So you give out loans to as many people as you can, because it doesn't matter if they can pay it back or not. If you give out a $300,000 loan, you're allowed to invest $300,000 into other things because you have that money. even though you don't. And that's why the housing market crashed, because they gambled that money because they got deregulated, so they were allowed to gamble on more and more shit instead of actually investing it properly. They just gambled on shit and fucking lost. So now they owed the banks who have no actual money, had to owe a bunch of money. So now nothing's worth anything.
Examples of individual racism, of course, but I asked for examples of discrimination. What she gave me, and you, by proxy. Here's something else too. People say, why do you focus on her so much? She's an elected official. She is paid by our tax dollars. It's not punching up, looking...
I mean, so is Trump, so...
To gain ratings. Her job is to respond to her constituency. That's her job. It is entirely appropriate to respectfully ask for her to answer these questions. She gave examples of discrimination.
She did, though. So, A, she did. Yeah, she did. She did, though.
That were actually just disparity. That's all it was. By the way, for her to answer these questions. She gave examples of discrimination that were actually just disparity. That's all it was. By the way...
I fucking put a hole in my goddamn fucking straw. Fuck. Fuck! Okay, this is the easy fix when you put a hole in your straw. Turn that bitch upside down. And you try to, like, reclose it as best you can so you get as slow as you can. Oh, wait, would this work now? Hold on. Yeah, not well enough. Okay. Anyways, so they're just disparity. But why? Is it because over the history of the United States, black people have been kicked down to the bottom? And yeah, sure, now you're free. But there's still remnants of it being shitty. One of those remnants might be how public schools are funded. I don't want to go into like the deep depths of like why certain things could be characterized as institutionalized racism. And I can give examples on how you can go way too far. And one of the reasons why in the past I fucking like... So there's a problem with far left SJW idiots because when they say institutionalized racism, they literally think that every single white person is unironically extremely racist or whatever. And it's like, well, no, that's fantasy. But you do have an argument for institutionalized racism in the sense that, like, schooling could be institutionalized racism because schools are funded based on your property taxes. So therefore, places with lower income have lower school funding, and lower school funding typically will lead to less poor education. Because with less funding, you can't get higher tech stuff. Like, if you had to teach a class about computer science and your school couldn't afford computers, I think funding has something to do with education. If you wanted to teach kids in high school about robots, but you couldn't afford the robots, how are you supposed to teach them about robots? Now, you could teach some kids in the school with a book. Some people learn that way. Other kids learn by... Anyways. I think it's pretty obvious that funding definitely has a role in your quality of education.
That doesn't mean there aren't any problems with what she's outlined there. There certainly are examples of discrimination. This is, though, what she...
That's my favorite. Just so that he can sneak away from being called a racist. Oh, of course there's some racism, but it's clearly not crazy. Not everybody's racist. Well, I never said everyone's racist. Well, I'm just making sure you know.
She's done is it's a symptom of a syndrome, okay? That there is a problem that only government can fix to right the racial injustices of the past. There's a common denominator, by the way, that I talked about, I said I would come back to, that could lead to this disparity among any race, white, black, yellow. Let me ask this, what could possibly be the common denominator, okay, that could lead to a disparity in success in school? That would also possibly lead to a disparity in incarceration rates, or saving up enough money to get a home. Let me answer that with an anecdote first, followed by some data.
Wait,
Okay?
hold on. What?
Common denominator, okay? Among any race, white, black, yellow. Let me ask this. What could possibly be the common denominator, okay? That could lead to a disparity in what is this disparity injustices of the past. There's a common denominator, by the way. Discrimination. This is, though, what she's done is it's a symptom of a syndrome, okay? That there is a problem that only government can fix to right the racial injustices of the past.
Certain problems the government is far more well equipped to deal with than privatization. Examples: healthcare. Clearly, because the United States is the only country with private healthcare, clearly that healthcare is something that the government should take care of. Clearly. My favorite thing about that too is they love to source where's the socialist country? If socialism's so great, why is there more countries like them? But when you ask them, like, well, where is the privatized healthcare system? If it's so great, why isn't it here? Anyways. What's going on?
There's a common denominator, by the way, that I talked about. I said I would come back to it, that could lead to this disparity among any race, white, black, yellow. Let me ask this. What could possibly be the common denominator, okay, that could lead to a disparity in success in school? That would also possibly lead to a disparity in incarceration rates or saving up enough money to get a home.
He better say class. And if he says class, join the Sochi Brigade, my dude.
Let me answer that with an anecdote first, followed by some data, okay? I was at a baby shower this weekend. My wife is out of town.
We could pretty much totally ignore this because it's an anecdote, but...
So I had to attend, and I brought Betty, our puppy.
Sorry, buddy.
So it was all the parents and their kids, and Betty's a puppy, and so we're trying to socialize her with as many dogs and as many kids as possible.
Yeah.
She's out there running around playing. There was this boy who was screaming, by the way. Anytime he wanted attention, just scream, shoving other kids in the bouncy hop. He walked up and punched Betty in the ribs.
Ooh.
As hard as he could. Just right where the spine meets the ribs, just sounded just like that.
Ow.
Okay.
And then he walked up and he yanked on her tail. And he looked me, Johnny Boy was there, looked me.
And then you fucking walloped him, right? And now you're going to jail for child abuse.
In the eyes and started stepping on her tail after I told him to stop.
All right, so let's see if this is true. Probably not because it's an anecdote, but...
Now,
Oh, he gonna die.
I say this because if it were Hopper, he probably would have bitten the kid because he's older, he doesn't play that, right? And that's another problem I have. People are like, oh, a dog. No, if you punch a dog in the ribs, you're kind of
Yes, but if you... fuck. Because I also hate this too. Like, pit bulls shouldn't be banned. But, I mean, if your dog attacks somebody just for walking by...
asking for it. But the racist would look at that and say, oh, black kid. But you know what I saw? I saw a kid at that baby shower with the only mother without a wedding ring or a father.
No, he didn't say class. He's going with the fucking Sargon of Akkad shit. Marriage. Just got them all married, guys. Oh, fuck. Huh. Oh, no.
He was the only kid there without a dad. And as far as I know, he doesn't.
Without a dad. Now, why might he not have a dad? Is it because of the culture around that you've set up because of past racist things? Maybe. Maybe. Because, let's take an example. For whatever reason, we don't even have to, let's not even go into, like, evidence about each thing. For whatever reason, African Americans in the United States, or black people in the United States, tend to not have fathers. For whatever reason. Well, okay, it seems like he's right now correlating that... Oh, is he? Fuck. Hold on.
Doesn't have a dad. Now, I could give that kid free school for life.
No, I guess that whatever I was going to go with doesn't really matter. Oh, God. Oh, no, it still works. Okay, so... It's like, why aren't black people in the United States getting married and having and the father, and why doesn't the father stay in the family and whatnot? Like, why doesn't this happen? Is it just because they're black people? Well, if you think that way, I'm not saying Steven Crowder thinks that way, but this is where my thought process is. If you think that way, if you think that, well, it's just black people, then why doesn't it happen in all of the like African nations? Why isn't that a typical thing that happens in Africa? Something in the United States, for some reason, it's particular in the United States. Well, why? Well, one reason could be that the United States has a pretty high peak for racism around the world. Pretty solid fucking stamp in the history books of we were racist, okay? So maybe some stuff from that is leaking over, whatever. I'm not exactly sure, but you know, you can ask yourself these questions. The whys.
I could give him a guaranteed job. I could walk up and hand that mom $1 million, and it wouldn't make a shit of a difference.
Okay, the $1 million wouldn't make a shit of a difference. The education probably would. Let's see, what did you mention?
Now, I could give that kid free school for life.
Okay. It could very easily make a difference.
I could give him a guaranteed job. I could walk up.
It could very easily make a difference. Because not all black people are lazy and refuse to get education. Yeah, I think we can all agree to that.
Up and hand that mom $1 million, and it wouldn't make a shit of a difference. Because
now the money thing I could agree with him on. Because if you give anybody a large sum of money, they seem to fucking burn it. So, but again, they don't burn it because they're black people. It just seems with money, people just burn their money, no matter who the fuck they are. It appears that way. But with the education thing, giving him that stuff might actually help. Statistically, people who are given free education and do better, typically. Right? Because if you can't afford the education, if you can't afford higher education, why the fuck would you go there? Well, mainly because you can't afford it. But like in Canada, we're in a weird stage right now where Doug Ford wants to turn back OSAP, which was, and OSAP basically was that low-income students would have free tuition. But now Doug Ford's coming in and he's making it so that like you have to get a loan. So I was potentially going to apply for a university course, and if I got in, take it. But now I won't, because that's going to be $16,000 slammed onto my head, or at least like $7,000 of it put on my head. And that's for like one semester, because that's like what my brother's paying right now at Guelph or whatever the fucking course he's taking. So the political science course I was going to take would probably cost about the same. So because of that, we've rolled back. But if I was given free schooling, I would 100% take that course.
Because he doesn't have a dad. So because
Wait, also, giving that education might not help that specific kid, because currently his situation, his culture doesn't promote it. But if you give free schooling to people and you leave it be for a while, and you try to educate as many people as possible, that tiny minority of people you're educating will slowly grow into a majority, because education is a good thing.
he was black? No. All shit of a difference. Because he doesn't have a dad. So because he was black? No. All kids do poorly without dads.
Yeah. Can you cite that, please?
They're more likely to drop out of school, to commit crimes,
Could you cite that, please?
Violent, to have psychological problems, or
Could you cite that, please?
behavioral disorders, to have marital problems
Could you cite that, please?
of their own down the line, to make a lower income
Could you cite that, please?
across the boards. Okay? Black kids do poorly without a dad. White kids do poorly without a dad.
Could you cite that, please? Maybe it's true. I could even but I want you to cite it, because you've been pretty inconsistent with citing today. Sir, you've been pretty fucking bad at that. Also, there's just a bunch of whys. Well, why do they do poorly without dads? Maybe it's because their dad was a shitbag anyways, and it's better off that he's not in the family at all. If that dad stayed in the family, what makes you think he would be any better? It might actually be better that he left because he was a shit father. Whoa!
But 73% of black kids don't have a dad.
Like, oh my god. Just giving them a dad doesn't solve the problem. If their dad's a shithead, the dad's a shithead.
but because
How do you stop people from being shitheads? Usually education. I would assume. I would like to assume that when you educate people, they you know, like if people, you know, like if a racist thinks there's actual differences between like blacks and whites in like large part, like you know what I'm saying? Well, that's not really great. Anyways, if like if like a racist thinks that the white race is demonstrably way better than the black race, if you educate him about the truth, he'll probably drop that.
Cortez sees blacks as a voting bloc, she then interprets all of these disparities as discrimination.
Well, I don't remember. Oh, all of her stuff in the tweet. Well, I mean, yeah, there pretty much are. Like I was able to demonstrate pretty well that they were. I'm not too sure about the housing market one because, like I said, I'm not that well equipped on that one. I don't know much about it. But yeah, with your other shit, I mean, huh?
But there really is at least one easily explainable reason for this, or at least one correlation that makes sense across the board. Kids who don't have dads do poorly in life.
But isn't this another example of correlation and causation? Just because kids don't have dads doesn't mean that they're wait a second. It appears these two things correlate. But yeah, that doesn't mean not having a dad is the cause. Just because not having a dad and whatever he said correlate doesn't mean that not having a dad is the cause. So you have to demonstrate me that it is, and I don't think you're gonna do that.
Now, the left has been accusing the right of using this as a cop-out for all these disparities, which clearly are examples of systemic discrimination, and only if you really looked at the systemic problems of racial injustice, you know what, here's the truth. If you look at them, you examine them, just like they don't exist.
Yeah.
The largest part of this solution is right in front of
Wait, can you show me where, what doesn't exist?
systemic problems of racial injustice. You know what, here's the truth. If you look at them, if you really looked at the systemic problems of racial injustice, you know what, here's the truth. If you look at them, you examine them, just like they don't exist.
Okay, so can you tell me what doesn't exist? Because, I mean, whatever, you were talking about a bunch of shit before, and I was, like, pretty capable of showing you that, like, it's true. So, I'm wondering what doesn't exist.
The largest part of this solution is right in front of your faces, their faces, our faces, but the left couldn't possibly acknowledge it because that would be dabbling in the realm of moral absolutism, or maybe passing judgment. And we couldn't have the leaders of the DNC doing that.
Well, also it would be like forced monogamy, which, I mean, I'm pretty sure you'd be against, right? Because liberty and stuff? Okay.
Couldn't have them saying, you know what, let me use my sound judgment here. It seems that there is a strong correlation here, and I do believe there could be some causation, that kids with...
But correlation doesn't equal causation. Did you not go over that in the start of your fucking video?
Without dads don't do well. If we're going...
But do they not do well because they don't have dads? You have to demonstrate that. You have 40 seconds. Well, yeah, you have 40 seconds to demonstrate that.
Why don't you try and socially
You have 50 seconds.
engineer people? Why don't we look at something that is undeniable and encourage men to be better husbands, fathers, dads in the household?
But what does that mean?
You do that, you'd fix a lot.
Wait, you do that how? With education?
You certainly would fix...
Oh, fuck. I can't really be using that because but then I kind of can because, so he'll say, well, choice schooling would get that, but choice schooling wouldn't get that, but that's okay.
a lot of problems. Not
Or, sorry, I would say that choice schooling wouldn't get that.
all of them, but everybody would have a better head start, at least. But we're not supposed to talk about it. The DNC could never do that. Cortez, the intellectual...
You're not talking about it either. You're just saying that, like, get married is all I can extrapolate from this right now.
heavyweight for them. Okay, if you like this...
Ah!